Mr. Speaker. The health workers have not been paid their salaries for the last 4 months, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Kiambu employees are not attending the Kikoska Games this year, something they have done every year. And you know that's the only opportunity you meet other people from other counties for cohesion and agreement and understanding of each other, Mr. Speaker. And they are not going to attend because, one, they say there is no money. But if you ask them, the money that you have had, how did you use that money? Didn't you budget for this? And it was budgeted for, Mr. Speaker. So you should not again blame the national government that there is late disbursement, yet you have your own source of revenue, Mr. Speaker. And this is a call to all governors, Mr. Speaker, that they should work on their own source of revenue. And working on own source of revenue does not mean increasing the taxes or the levies, Mr. Speaker. It is just broadening the collection of it. And this can only be done through digitization, Mr. Speaker. And I'm comparing the President's speech from my contribution, Mr. Speaker. Because if you read paragraph 66 of the President, actually I'm supporting some of his pronouncement, Mr. Speaker. The President said that I am delighted to report on the dramatic improvements we have recorded by automating and digitizing our revenue collection and service delivery through e-citizen, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this should be trickled down to the county governments, and I'm calling on the governors to borrow from the President's speech and digitize their own source revenue collection methods, Mr. Speaker. They should digitize tax collection or levies collection, digitize service delivery, digitize water supplies, Mr. Speaker. And you know counties own water companies in their counties, Mr. Speaker. And since I'm in one of committees that scrutinize these reports, the audit reports about water companies, Mr. Speaker, we have realized counties are losing a lot of water through the non-revenue water, Mr. Speaker, through leakages, stealing of water, no meters, and all that, Mr. Speaker. And if you look at it, like yesterday, we had the governor of Kirinyaga, and his county is losing 56% of all the water supplied to the county government to the county of Kirinyaga, Mr. Speaker. 56%. And when you ask them, they say the pipes are old, we don't have meters, the people are stealing water. Mr. Speaker, if we digitize, even have smart meters, Mr. Speaker, this can really help the service delivery if we digitize, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I know counties need money, and it is upon this House to scrutinize how the governors are using these monies, Mr. Speaker. The other day, and we saw it yesterday in the news, that the national government, through the Ministry of Water, they are forming a task force to fight rats menace, snail menace, and birds menace in Mwea, Mr. Speaker. Though it might sound funny, this is a huge problem in Mwea, Mr. Speaker. The people of Mwea are suffering because their rice is being eaten by the birds, called quelea birds, the snails, and of course the rats, Mr. Speaker. But when you ask them, and I've talked to the senator of Kirinyaga, and he has given me more information by telling me that one red-billed quelea bird can eat 80 grams of rice every day. If you multiply that by a year, Mr. Speaker, that's about 215 tons of rice. So the Mwea people, if you convert that to money, they lose 32 million Kenya shillings every year, Mr. Speaker. But when you ask the national government or the county government, they are forming a task force. You know, this government of ours, Mr. Speaker, they like meetings. They even form a meeting to discuss whether they should have a meeting, Mr. Speaker. What I'm trying to say is, Mr. Speaker, how to fight this menace in Mwea is to give counties more resources. But again, I've been told here by the Senator of Kirinyaga that the county government of Kirinyaga has never budgeted for this menace, has never put money to try to reduce these red-billed quelea birds that are eating the rice, Mr. Speaker. And when you do a little bit of research, how do you repel or keep away these birds, Mr. Speaker? is by using some ultrasonic repellers, Mr. Speaker. It is a small gadget that makes some sound or emits some sound waves that the human cannot hear, but the birds will hear, and it will disturb them, and they will run away. And such a gadget, Mr. Speaker, is going for 3,000 Kenya shillings. And the county government cannot see it fit to budget for such a gadget, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have known even from our high school, of our primary school times, that we have scarecrows, Mr. Speaker. And I know maybe these birds and these rats, they are used to the scarecrow. But in this time of technology, the county government should at least even give them drones, Mr. Speaker. The drones that are also emitting the predator's sounds, so that the birds can feel like a predator is on the way, Mr. Speaker. So what I'm trying to say, Mr. Speaker, is that we shouldn't reduce the amount of money that goes to the counties, and again now ask the governors to prudently use those resources as per the budget estimates, as per the budgeting processes, and also as per the people's priorities, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I know I'm talking about Mwea, but probably this is not the only problem in Mwea or the rice fields, Mr. Speaker. Maybe in Bura, Ahero, North Kano, or even Lower Kuja in Migori, Mr. Speaker. Maybe they're also having this problem. And when the government says it's going to form a task force to catch a rat, Mr. Speaker, you ask yourself, don't we have the people who are mandated to deal with these issues instantly? Must you form a task force to go and discuss the rats, or the birds, or the snails, or even how to kill them, Mr. Speaker, yet they already know how? All I'm trying to say is that money should be used well to the intended purposes, and I oppose this report, Mr. Speaker. We need to give counties more money so that we can be able, as a Senate, use our channels and committees to check on how these monies are used at the counties, Mr. Speaker. So I oppose.